Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Krista Cole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. And whew, thank God this is over. This is my review on the Never Ever Met season 2, episode 10. So many different plot twists. You know, I normally do like a real recap, but considering the fact that we all know that we only care about two of the couples in this actual episode, I'm gonna just make it very quick and we're gonna get to the ratchet behavior that went on. So, with that being said, I think everybody knows at this point Jay and Cinco did leave together. There was nothing to say in that point. They left together. They had their last supper with everyone, their last, morning meals or lunches with everyone, and they left together. So we already knew that was going to happen. It'll be very interesting, though, to see what happens at the actual reunion. Okay. But with that being said, we also have Chris and Alexis. Okay, now let me tell you something. Alexis, if I'm not mistaken, is already older than Chris. Her wanting to go to the boom boom room annoyed the hell out of me, and how she was so determined to get some peen while she was in that freaking house. And I'm just like, okay, look, even on the actress level, girl, can't you respect the fact that this man is like, look, I'm not trying to go there. I would rather just have a clear mind about if I want you or not versus how you make me feel down there. I would say any real woman would respect that, but she seemed so annoyed that he was not willing to go to the boom boom room. And she said, look, like, what's your decision? I thought we was good. What's going on? And he was like, I'll let you know what my decision is. And at that point, she felt like, I don't know if it's going to be a yes or a no, but I'm anticipating a no because of what he actually said. Well, the next day they went about, roundabout about, look, it was a rough times or whatever the case may be. She said, I thank you for bringing to the attention that, my aggression. And, just want to I appreciate you for that. And he was like, yeah, okay, well, yeah. So, with your blessing, I want us to lead together. And then of course she starts smiling. She was like, you didn't think y'all was gonna let you go that easy, huh? And I said, uh-huh. See, he may have been on to something. He may have been on to something when she was talking about the boom boom room, and he was like, God said no. He gonna put that voodoo on me. He may be on to something, because the fact that she made the comment like, you didn't think I was gonna let you get away that easy. I'm like, child, are you on some heebie-jeebie type of spell witchcraft type of stuff? Like, look, he may have been on to something. That's why he said absolutely not. But at the same time, he decided to go away with her. So with that being said, hey ZZ, can't wait for the reunion. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the reunion is going to talk about, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff that we did not know that was going on in the house that's going to be exposed at the reunion. So yeah, so with that being said, he even kissed her on the forehead, friend zone. Yeah, that was another thing too. This is why I'm saying, ZZ, like, it's given, these are amateur actors doing a straight improv class for the next couple of weeks type of thing, and they just going with the flow, or there are some legitimate real couples in the mix of actual actors on here. But either way, the fact that Chris has been on another reality show always gave me a red flag about him. But with that being said, they end up leaving together. So let's get to it. Adios, Kiki. Adios, Kiki. So Kiki ends up taking Brandon to Dave and Buster for their second date. And interesting enough, he's like, look, she took me to Dave and Buster in the process of passing the UCLA campus, the, LA Rams Stadium, which would have definitely been like a great apology. And she was like, Brandon has been around moping around, crying. And so since he wants to act like a child, I figure he would want to go play some games. And I'm like, well, you also want to play some games, which is why you was playing games with two men at the same time. So the fact that she just does not understand that what she did was wrong, and I still haven't even heard an apology yet. Like, I don't even think Kiki has apologized and said, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong for not telling you about my ex. I was wrong for not telling you the information. I was wrong for not, seeing you 4 different times you came to see me. I apologize because that was not right. We haven't heard that. So the fact that she keeps doing this nonsense about how he's being immature and she's not looking at the situation like she's immature is very, lack of accountability, very immature herself, narcissistic. Like it's giving all of that. So, but they had a good time on their date. And, he was like, this was fun or whatever the case may be. And they were talking about how, when they first met, how they felt, and how he even said, look, I didn't realize how much you paid attention to me for the past 4 years. How you remember, like, I like tacos and things like that. And he was like, I think other people in the house was like, oh, okay, so they do kind of have a love for each other or whatever. And I was like, she probably remembered tacos because she liked tacos too. Hell, I will remember stuff about somebody else if I like the same things. But, at the same time, she said, yeah, I felt that way. She was like, well, how do you feel now? He was like, yeah, the ex situation and all of that stuff, like that's a hard pill to swallow. And he was like, I got some things to think about. And she was like, I got some things to think about too. What you got to think about, Kiki? What you got to think about? Because you was literally telling your friend that to lose, your mom, which of course is devastating, RIP to that situation. And then also saying losing him would be too much. So what is it that you really need to think about? Or the fact that you are going to wait to see what his decision is and then try to sit up there and add your little extras on it depending on what his decision is, which I think that's what she did. And we're going to talk about that. But I think she was waiting to see what his decision would be so she can add her little oomph to it, okay? But with that being said, they went on their date. Hey, make sure you guys hit the like button on the way in so your girl can get into the algorithm. So after the date, and when they get back, they had their little last supper. And then the next day, Brandon was like, let me talk to you. So he said, look, he's like, at the end of the day, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Okay. He was like, this ain't gonna work. I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have trust in a relationship. And yeah, I can't do it. And she was like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're really moody. Like, you're really, really moody. And I shouldn't be walking on eggshells to actually be in this relationship and stuff like it. And I said, see, here we go. She was waiting to see what he was going to say. Now, of course, if he said, I want to work this out and be with you, would she have honestly said that stuff? Hell no. But as soon as he sat up there and said, look, this ain't gonna work, you're really moody. Like, I shouldn't have to be on eggshells. The only reason why he was moody is because of your behavior. It was your behavior. How do you not understand? Like, it was because of you that he would be moody. Now, you may be mad that he literally didn't come to you and try to communicate at first. But at the end of the day, some of those situations, you needed to go to him. You needed to say, let's sit down and talk. And I apologize. But it seemed like a lot of the times he was coming to you to talk to you. So to me, she was just trying to add a little, well, I didn't want to be with you either. After she found out, like, oh, okay, well, since you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with you. So now what? That type of thing. So with that being said, they end up packing their bags. They get their bags together and they tell the other couples, yeah, we're not going with each other. Baby, Brandon said, yeah, we ain't together no more. He literally got his bags and Kiki was struggling with her bags and literally he left her chilling and not helping her with her bags. And the other couples was like, dang, like he ain't gonna help with the bags. And they start laughing. But I'm thinking like there's other men in the room. Y'all could have helped with the bags too, but you didn't. But he was like, hell no, this is over. And so he was like, all right, peace, Kiki. And she was like, dang, I can't get a hug. And he was like, adios, Kiki. Goodbye. Yeah, I ain't giving you no hug. I'm good. And he got in the car and he said, look, I wish she would have sat up there and, told me about that ex situation and literally would have respected the fact that she knew that I cared for her and I really wanted to be with her. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, I hope if this was a genuine relationship that this does not change and alter him, because especially when it comes to men, one heartbreak can lead them to just being like a Jared. So I hope this does not completely just make his heart completely like an ice box. I hope that is not the case, because at the end of the day, I would say that Kiki was not worth it. A lot of people, and again, I was rooting for Kiki, especially in the beginning, because I was like, okay, she's representing for the BBWs. Pretty girl, seems sweet, but everybody is kind of just soft-spoken or doesn't really say anything doesn't necessarily mean that they're sweet. I think Kiki is very aware of what she was doing, okay? And she just could not take accountability that she was trifling. She was trifling. Point blank, period. Because guarantee if a man did that to her, he would be every trifling ninja in the book. But she couldn't take it. And honestly, it's giving me that if this relationship was legit, her ex did the same thing to her type of thing. And she wanted to take it out on someone else. Hurt people. Okay. But at the end of the day, he left and he was like, peace out. Yeah, I'm good. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, when they separate cars, I wish them well. Again, hell, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this is a legit relationship, but I'll tell you one thing. I am sure Brandon has a plethora of women in his DMs. Like every time I turned around, people were sitting up there talking about, oh, he's so fine. He this, he that. What's his at? Oh, I look. She don't want him. I'll take him. So I think he's good. And honestly, I think Kiki's good too. I'm sure at the end of the day, even though she looked very trifling, I'm sure there will be a man or two who's gonna bust in the DMs and want to talk to her. Now, would it be for the right reasons? I don't know. But at the end of the day, let's move on to the main event. Let's move on to the main pathetic event. Jared and Charli. Oh my gosh. Where the hell do I start with this, y'all? Okay, so they end up going outside and having some freaking cheap, low budget CVS, Sam's Club, Walgreens type of picnic, whatever the hell y'all want to call it, child. And her little ghetto behind was literally like drinking wine straight from the bottle. I was like, what the heck is going on here? But anywho, they end up talking and he's like, yeah, you're my best friend. And she was like, I just want to know how you feel about me and where do we go? And he's like, yeah, like you're my best friend. And he was like, whether it's yes or no, like it starts off with us visiting each other. He was like, because technically, like, I mean, I could move to Dallas, but my baby mom's, she is very established. And if I move to Dallas, I won't be able to see my son. And so literally he was just like, that's a yes or no situation that, yeah, I'm not going to be able to move. And then she was like, I feel like you friend zoned me. And I'm like, girl, he done friend zoned you, or not even friend zoned you. He has zoned you out. Period. But you are so insecure and desperate for a man that you literally see all the signs, but is still begging for this man to want you and accept you. Like, I just don't get it. But then the crazy part about it is her conversation with dang on Alexis. And Alexis gave her some real in this situation. She was just like, I'm so confused, Alexis. Like, I'm so confused because like he treats me so well. And Alexis was like, you mean to tell me there has been no man who's treated you better than Jared? She was like, no. And I said, well, that is the freaking problem. She has 4 kids, mind you, crew. 4 kids. So you're telling me out of those men and other men that you've been with, Jared has been the best that you have had. And her example was how when she was in bed all day, he came to check in on her and give her food. And she felt like that is the nicest thing that a man has done for her. Oh my gosh, Charli, wake the hell up, go to therapy. Find out what is your abandonment issues. Something is not right in the situation. Furthermore, the fact that you have had, I don't know how many baby daddies she has, but she has 4 kids. So let's just say for the sake of it, she has 4 baby daddies. Let's just say 4. You have definitely, those baby daddies are not in your life. If everything was great with at least one of them, I would say you would have got married to one of them. So you have seen examples over and over again of trifling, gaslighting nonsense. How is it that you did not see any of the signs with Jared when he has showed you multiple times, especially after he got the poom poom from you and then decided to sit down with you and say, yeah, I'm the one who wrote F no. And in a perfect world, yeah, but pretty much I just wanted to have fun, hit it and split it, and you know, it is what it is. That should have been your moment to pack your bags then. Yeah, should have been your moment then. But no, you continue to see red flag after red flag and still was like, I'm so confused. No, you're desperate. You're insecure. And you are literally in this mindset of no man will want me with 4 kids. So I got to hold on to this POS. Newsflash, honey, there is actually a man out there who would actually probably want you and your kids, and you would be perfectly fine. Charli hits all the marks as far as the looks department. And y'all know what I mean. You know what I mean? And furthermore, there's probably a man out there who literally has his own kids and he doesn't mind blended families. Why are you so hung up on Jared? So literally Alexis said, look, he's showing you who he really is. You know why? Because you're still willing to deal with it. You're still willing to accept it anyway. So why do you feel like he's not showing you who he really is? I think at the end of the day, you leave him alone. Walk out of here on your own. And if it's meant to be, he will come back to you. Period. She's like, but I just, but also like, I feel like because we were friends also. So like, what if I lose all of that, the friendship? And she said, and if it was a genuine friendship, you won't lose that. At the end of the day, she said, but I know one thing, you need to love yourself. That's what you need to do. You need to love yourself. How about you work on that first, which I say all the time. Girls like Charli are the perfect prey. They're the perfect prey. They're very insecure, very needy, wanting just a man to love and accept them, that you're going to get a Jared consistently and constantly until you work on your inner issues. So ZZ says, something tells me she has 4 for sure. It gives vibes of that, don't it, ZZ? Hey, Mari M. Yeah, it's, so literally it's like you're going to continue to get a Jared because you truly are walking around like, please love me, please accept me, please, please, please just accept me. Mind you, again, if a man is not willing to accept your kids, you shouldn't even want him in the first place. But what ticked me off is that even after that conversation, baby, what ticked me off, honey, was, baby, they did a question game again. And literally, Chris asked the couples, do they believe in monogamy? Of course, the red means no, the green means yes. And Jared put up no. And literally all the other couples was like, WTF, like, Jared, you don't believe in monogamy? He's like, no. I mean, nothing lasts forever. Yeah, nothing does last forever. We clearly know that. I mean, you have couples who have been in marriages for like 60 years. It's not going to last forever, but at the end of the day, it did last. It was successful. And he's coming with all of these freaking stories like, yeah, that's going to last forever. And then they were like, so you don't believe in being with one person? And then he tried to switch up. He was like, well, yeah, like if you're with one person, I don't believe in cheating. Like I'll leave before I cheat. Sir, you do realize that monogamous, like I was just like, what the hell are you talking about, sir? One minute you saying you don't believe in monogamy, but then the next minute you're saying that when you're in a relationship, though, you don't cheat. And you'll leave before you cheat. I'm confused. I'm confused. And literally, Charlie's just sitting there taking this, continuing to drink her wine, honey, like it's grape juice. Like she was just like, go, go, go. Like she was trying to get herself intoxicated. And I'm like, and you're still sitting next to him and you're not packing your bags and just telling him you're leaving? Like, and that's what I thought too, Mari M. I felt like he was trying to do anything and everything for Charli to end it so he didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, I truly feel that way. Now, he may not believe in monogamy. You know what I mean? But at the same time, some of the things that he said after he got the poom poom and saying pretty much he just wanted to have a good time after a certain point, I feel like he was trying to say anything to trigger her to say, I'm done with this. But again, being so desperate or whatever the case may be, she decided she wanted to stay and wait and hope and pray that literally he would pick her. But I'm just like, you making yourself look like Boo-Boo the fool. Like, seriously. So that was another red flag. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to continue this. And lo and behold, they're the last couple at the house. The exact last couple at the house. And they end up walking around the house, going outside. And then he sits up there and says, yeah, you're a great person. You're my best friend. But at the end of the day, it has to be a yes or a no. And it's a no. I can't provide what you need. You deserve so much better. You know, the typical F-boy comment. You deserve so much better than me because it can't be me. And so she's like, I feel like a fool. And I'm like, really, girl? Really? Now you feel like a fool? Seems to me you've been a fool your whole life. Your whole entire life. Do you hear me? And so she was just like, I don't understand. And literally like last night, after he talked about the whole monogamy situation, he came into my room and apologized and kissed me and stuff. And I don't understand. And I'm just like, Charli, what is it that you don't understand? You know who she remind me of? Robin on Waiting to Exhale. Robin on Waiting to Exhale. Like, so you know Robin who stole your wallet. What? He stole it? He stole it? I mean, he wanted me to meet his mama. That must mean that he really loved me, right? That's what she remind me of. Just dumb. Just dumb. And so she's like, I don't know what to say, Jared. And he was just like, look, at the end of the day, like, I'm doing this out of love, right? And she was like, okay, Jared, okay. And so at that point, she's just looking sad, but then at the same time, kind of having a smirk on her face. Like, I didn't know if that was her trying to, she kind of processed the fact that she done got played on TV, or it was her kind of getting out of character, the character she's supposed to stay in for the show. But literally, she gets in the car and he's like, I love you, Charli. And I said, this is a straight psychopath. Like, seriously. And the reason why I say that is because, look, Charli definitely played herself, but Charli is also very delusional too, because didn't she say also in the process of them talking, I was honest to you about everything? Ma'am, you hid a baby from him. He hid a baby from you. This is why I said both of their POSs deserved each other. But you can't sit up there and hide a whole baby from someone and be completely disappointed or shocked and try to say you were honest about everything. No, you were not. You were not. You were not honest about everything. And honestly, I side-eye Charli in that situation more than Jared, and here's why. I hate to say it, but we do live in a society where people always say, you know what I'm saying, like, daddies may or may not be there, where they say mama's babies, daddy's maybe. Like, physically, you carried this child. Physically, you birthed this child. Physically, you were actually breastfeeding this child. That takes a lot out of your body, and there is a lot of not only physical but emotional attachment to that child. To go through all of that and to hide the most sacred, most precious thing that a woman actually creating a life, birthing a life, I feel like is the most precious thing. So for you to sit up there and completely just not tell someone, a man that you claim you loved so very much, about that situation is very weird. Now, the reality is Jared is wrong too, but unfortunately, those are the type of things that we have seen in society all the time. Men sitting up there not wanting to tell a woman about the baby that they have. Hell, we done had multiple situations on this show with that, with the other Clavassier. But women typically don't do that. Am I wrong to think that way? Like, women don't, because it's just like, look, I did not birth this baby, carry this baby for 9 months. No, everybody about to know that I done had this child. So I just kind of sighed. But when she said, I've been honest about everything, I said, girl, you delusional. You delusional. Like, but here's my thing. The reason why I say he gives psychopath vibes is because he literally gave one personality to Charli, but literally to the guys, and literally in the confessionals, he gave some very sinister, even devious other sides to him. He was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You literally are sitting up there giving this soft, raspy voice to Charli anytime you talk to her. But then when it comes to the boys, he's like, F no. I said F no. Wait, 4 kids? 4 kids? Are you effing kidding me? Where's that personality, sir, when it comes to Charli? Or literally sitting in the confessional saying, I'm going to get what I got. I came and I'm going to get what I came here for. I'm getting that boom, boom room. But you didn't have that energy with her. And then when it's time to sit up there and confess after you get that poom poom, and this is another thing too, ladies, be stingy with your poom poom. Don't seem like Charli knows how to be stingy with her poom poom. I think she truly thinks giving up the poom poom is a sign of love. Girl, therapy. Be stingy with your poom poom. Okay? Just because someone says something nice to you, just because someone checks in on you when you're asleep in bed all day, does not mean that you need to open up the love muscle. You know what I'm saying? So that's her problem too. Baby, I hope the baby daddies come out and say something. I really hope them baby daddies come out. I need to know what is going on. But literally at that point, Jared sits up there and says a confessional, Charli's my best friend. We're best friends. And I'm like, you who best friends? When both of you guys were lying to each other about a very deep secret, you were lying about your child and y'all are best friends. Let my best friend sit up there and lie to me about something like that. We're not best friends. Hell, we're not even friends. Okay? Goodbye. So honestly, at that point, she's talking about she's embarrassed. She's confused. She loved this man to the core. Baby, you can't love that man to the core. You don't even love yourself. You don't even love yourself. So don't do the whole situation up. I love him to the core. He broke my heart. Your heart was broken way before Jared. It was. That's why Jared was able to get into your life. Okay? Just like Jared's heart was broken way before you. That's why he is the trifling dude that he is today. And interesting enough, now I don't know again if he was lying about the whole monogamy thing just to get under Charli's skin and try to do stuff under Charli's skin. He could have, once he heard about how many kids she had, decided to say anything and everything for Charli to just be so scared and run away. He may believe in monogamy, but he said that in front of her. But it still does not hide the fact that he did have a child and didn't tell her also, and the fact that he wasn't completely honest with her. Because the reality is he should have been honest with her. He should have said, I can't do 4 kids. I cannot do 4 additional kids plus the 2 that I have, which, by the way, he mentioned his son and his baby mom can't leave South Carolina because she's really established, which means that he won't be able to see her. Where's the other child at? Where's the other child, sir? You talking about that son? Where's the other child? Curious. But instead of him saying, look, I can't do 4 extra kids, but you know what? We can stay here and we can try to develop as friends. No, you know why? Because then that means he would have been off the show, because you have to be a couple to be on the show. The show would not allow them to establish each other as friends. So what he did was, I'm going to say whatever I need to say to stay on this show until the end, to get my checks, to get my camera time, to get the poom poom, and I'm out. I am completely out. But again, she had every right to say, if he really did not want to hurt her or break her heart, he would have simply said, this can't work. Because he definitely told the guys. You know what I mean? He definitely told the guys. And that also brings that Cinco ain't ish either. Because remember when Cinco was trying to rate the couples in the house that were left over, he said him and Jay were first, and he said Charli and Jared was second. Mind you, he knew Jared said F no on that card. And he also saw, if I'm not mistaken, and knew that Jared straight up lied in Charli's face and said that he said yes on the card. How would you make that couple number 2? So this is what I'm saying. They all full of it. They're all full of it. So they end up getting in their separate cars and leaving. And so for the reunion, honey, it seems like it's going to be very explosive. We see Jay saying there were a lot of secrets in the house. Something tells me them secrets have something to do with Brit, because she definitely has gone hard on that girl for whatever reason. But then literally Jared is still trying to kiss up to freaking Charli, which I did not like that red hair on Charli. It just was not flattering to her skin tone or anything else. She looked like a ghetto mermaid or something. Did y'all see how she was looking at the reunion? It was not given. She don't look good with red hair, at least that kind of shade of red hair. I don't know, honey, but the reality is Jared can say those things to Charli because he knows how vulnerable Charli is. He knows he can prey on Charli, and Charli will still be so confused and still torn about, does he love me? Does he really love me? Because she just wants that love so badly. And everyone was still looking at him. Not everyone. Was everyone? I don't know. But as soon as I saw her, I said, oh gosh. I said, not the red hair. Like, was she trying to do Jessica Rabbit? Because it wasn't given. It was a very ghetto Jessica Rabbit, honey. Yes. And like she didn't put a lick of makeup. Yeah, it was weird. Like her whole skin and face was bleached out. And then she had that red hair. It just was not making sense to me. And let's be clear, you don't have to have a lot of money to get the hair and makeup done at least somewhat decent for a show. Like, it doesn't take much. You can go to the MAC countertop and get your makeup done very nicely. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we're going to have to check out the reunion, you guys. At least though the actual episodes are over at this point. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this season. Do you like season 1 better? Season 2? Do you feel that most of these couples are fake couples who are just trying to get into the acting game, and this is just one big improv reality show where they kind of play off of each other to see what's going to be the next, topic or whatever the case may be, or how they're supposed to feed off of each other when they do improv? Is this improv? Because I don't know. There was definitely some couples where I was just like, are they really in a relationship or are they not in a relationship? Very weird. But with that being said, you guys, that is my review I didn't want to go blow by blow, scene by scene, because we all know what we was really talking about, and what we really cared about was the whole Kiki Brandon situation, and definitely Charli and Jared. When is Ready to Love coming back on? I think someone told me it's coming back on in August, ZZ, if I'm not mistaken. Think Ready to Love is coming back on in August, which is very weird that this show is about to end and then we have to wait another 2 months for Ready to Love. But you know what? I'm for the much needed break at this point, because there are definitely deadlines and timelines and a whole lot of stuff I have to do in my career and personal life right now. So yeah, I need the time. I definitely need the time. So I have been definitely doing a lot of content, you guys, for the last several months, sometimes even doing a live every day or every other day. I needed a break. I'm sorry for y'all because I had a couple of days that I was off. Your girl needed a break, okay? But you know what can really help me is to get the likes up, get me in the algorithm, because at the end of the day, that's what gets my channel discovered and really can help with that. But yeah, I definitely needed a break. But yeah, it's supposed to be in August. But yes, let's continue the conversation, y'all. Charli, Charli. But you know, there's so many Charlies in the world, just like there's so many Jareds in the world. This is why a lot of people are single, because of Jareds and Charlies in this world. Like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? They were truly a case study. Definitely. But the fact that this man can lie with a straight face, the way that he was lying to her with a straight face and lying in the confessional, talking about he was a freaking, that's my best friend and stuff. This man, he's giving psychopath vibes. Psychopath vibes. I was just like, ooh, gosh. And I'm sure every woman sometime in her life has dealt with a man like this, where it's just like, you actually believe your lie, don't you? Hell, it don't even have to be a man. Y'all could have had a friend, you know, and I'm sure there's some men out there who actually have dealt with females like that, where it's like, you actually believe your own lie. Like Kiki. Kiki was truly convinced she didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all whatsoever. It's like, hell, maybe Jared and Kiki need to get together. Like, I don't like people like that, where they truly look at a situation like they didn't do anything wrong and it's always somebody else. That is narcissistic behavior. And those people eventually, I don't know if they'll ever see it, but it literally, they are people who, they got a rude awakening coming. They really do. They have a rude awakening coming. People who are like that, they will eventually either see it, or they gonna eventually see it in the afterlife. I'll tell you that much. But with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you guys. Oh, I appreciate you, ZZ. Yes, I do. Yes, self-love is very, very important. But yes, Charli clearly doesn't have it, but neither does Jared. Neither does Jared, because when you really think about it, if Jared truly loved himself, to love yourself also means that you don't want to hurt anyone else either. People truly love themselves are not going to hurt other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's just what it is. So the fact that he's doing what he's doing tells me also that he doesn't love himself. He also is a case study in himself, who also needs therapy. And his sister is not his therapist, okay? Because his sister's gonna sit up there and literally always side with him even when he's wrong. So he actually needs to go to therapy. But his little manipulative psychopath behind, he will probably try to manipulate the therapist too. So with that being said, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video.